Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Welcome. In this section, we'll take a closer look at how average wait time, or AWT, connects with other key contact center metrics. So let's dive in and explore how AWT acts as a bridge between customer expectations, operational execution, and business results. Let's begin with one of the most direct and measurable relationships, average wait time and service level. Service level, often defined as something like 80/20ths, meaning 80% of calls answered within 0 seconds, is a cornerstone metric in both BPO contracts and in-house service operations. On the surface, it seems straightforward: keep the wait time low, and you'll meet your SLA. But the reality is more dynamic. As average wait time increases, the likelihood of SLA breaches rises sharply. For example, if your service level agreement is set at 80/20, and AWT starts climbing beyond 60 seconds, compliance drops significantly. This isn't just a number on a dashboard. In a BPO setting, it can directly trigger financial penalties or loss of performance bonuses. In an in-house center, it translates into missed targets, executive escalations, and eroded trust in the operations efficiency. The real insight here is that AWT and service level don't operate in isolation. Service level acts as a leading indicator of how effectively you are balancing demand and resources. A consistently low AWT not only keeps SLAs intact but also preserves customer confidence and protects the organization financially. So, when you manage AWT, you're not just managing queue times. You're actively safeguarding compliance, revenue, and reputation. That's why maintaining tight control over AWT is absolutely essential in sustaining service level performance. Now let's examine the powerful link between average wait time and abandonment rate. Abandonment rate measures how many customers disconnect before reaching an agent. It is one of the most visible signals of customer frustration. The correlation with AWT is clear: the longer people wait, the more likely they are to give up. Consider this example: if average wait time rises from just 2 minutes to 6 minutes, abandonment can spike dramatically, say, from 5% up to 18%. That means nearly 1 in 5 customers is leaving without service. These aren't just lost calls, they're lost sales, unresolved complaints, or missed opportunities to build loyalty. The real power comes from monitoring AWT and abandonment together. Tracking both in real time allows leaders to identify when queues cross the threshold of customer patience. Once you see abandonment rising, it's not just a metric problem, it's a direct warning that customer experience and revenue are at risk. The insight here is simple: wait time isn't harmless. Every extra minute in the queue translates into a higher chance of losing customers. By keeping AWT under control, you reduce abandonment, protect revenue, and preserve customer trust. Next, let's explore the indirect correlation between average wait time and average handle time. When customers are forced to wait too long, they don't simply begin their conversation at a neutral point. They often start frustrated or even angry. This emotional state changes the nature of the interaction. Instead of getting straight to the issue, the agent must first de-escalate, acknowledge the delay, and rebuild trust before resolving the actual problem. This extra friction makes calls more complex and drives handle time up. For example, if average wait time stretches to 8 minutes, customers are far more likely to vent their frustration. What might normally be a 400-second conversation can quickly expand to 520 seconds or more, not because the issue itself is harder, but because the customer's state of mind has changed. The key insight is that longer wait times don't only affect the queue, they have a ripple effect inside the conversation. Higher AHT means fewer agents are available to take new calls, which in turn pushes AWT even higher. It becomes a cycle of inefficiency, stress, and customer dissatisfaction. So, managing AWT effectively doesn't just reduce waiting. It also sets the stage for shorter, smoother, one-touch conversations that save time, lower costs, and improve both the customer and agent experience. Now let's talk about one of the most important relationships, average wait time and customer satisfaction. The correlation here is both strong and negative. As wait times increase, satisfaction scores fall. Customers simply do not separate the time spent in the queue from the overall quality of service. Even if an agent eventually resolves the issue perfectly, the damage from the wait is already done. For example, when average wait time is around 2 minutes, customer satisfaction might hold steady at 90%. But stretch that wait to 10 minutes, and CSAT can easily drop to 70%. The same holds true for Net Promoter Score. Customers who wait too long are less likely to recommend your brand, no matter how professional the agent is once the call begins. The key insight is that customers view long waits as a sign of poor service. In their eyes, it signals that the company doesn't value their time or respect their urgency. This perception can outweigh the eventual quality of the resolution, leaving a lasting impact on loyalty and brand trust. In short, managing AWT is not just an operational priority, it is a direct driver of customer experience, advocacy, and retention. Reducing wait times is one of the most effective ways to protect CSAT and NPS, and with them, long-term customer loyalty. Next, let's examine the operational relationship between average wait time and occupancy. Occupancy measures how much of an agent's time is spent actively handling customer interactions versus waiting for the next one. While high occupancy may sound efficient, when it consistently rises above 90%, it usually signals overload. Agents have little to no breathing space between calls, leading to fatigue, slower responses, and inevitably, longer wait times for customers. For example, in a center running at 95% occupancy, average wait time may climb to as much as 9 minutes because agents are stretched thin and queues build quickly. On the other hand, at a more sustainable level of around 82% occupancy, AWT often drops to just 3 minutes. The difference is dramatic, not just for customers, but also for agent morale and performance. The key insight here is that balance is everything. The sweet spot for occupancy lies between 80 and 85%. At this level, agents remain productive without being overwhelmed, and customers enjoy faster responses without the business needing to overstaff. In short, controlling occupancy isn't about squeezing more out of agents, it's about finding the right equilibrium that keeps AWT low, agents engaged, and operations cost-effective. Now let's explore how average wait time influences first call resolution, or FCR. FCR is one of the strongest indicators of efficiency and customer experience. It measures how often issues are resolved in a single interaction. But here's the catch: longer wait times reduce the likelihood of one-touch resolution. Why? Because customers who wait too long often arrive at the conversation already impatient or agitated. Instead of calmly explaining the issue, they're more likely to escalate, demand immediate fixes, or even hang up and call again. This behavior drives repeat contacts and lowers overall resolution rates. For example, when AWT is kept around 2 minutes, FCR might hold at 85%. But stretch that wait to 10 minutes, and FCR can fall to 70% or lower. That drop doesn't just affect efficiency, it means more workload for agents, higher costs per issue, and a weaker customer experience. The key insight is this: fast first responses set the stage for smooth, one-touch resolutions. By keeping AWT under control, you give agents a calmer, more cooperative customer, which makes resolving the issue faster and easier. In short, lower wait times protect FCR, reduce repeat calls, and create a cycle of efficiency that benefits both the customer and the business. Finally, let's connect average wait time directly to financial performance. Too often, AWT is seen purely as an operational measure, something for workforce planners or operations managers to worry about. But in reality, it has a direct and measurable business impact. When AWT rises, the consequences are costly. SLA penalties kick in for BPO contracts, wiping out margins. Lost sales opportunities slip away as customers abandon calls before reaching an agent. And repeat call costs grow because frustrated customers who hang up often call back, doubling handling time and resource use. On the other hand, when AWT is kept low, the benefits flow across the business. You see revenue protection as more sales calls are answered in time. You achieve cost savings because fewer calls are repeated and fewer customers defect. And most importantly, you strengthen customer retention and lifetime value, since customers who don't have to wait stay more loyal and engaged with the brand. The key insight is this: AWT isn't just an efficiency metric, it's a financial lever. Every minute shaved off wait time reduces cost per call, protects revenue, and preserves long-term customer relationships. In short, managing AWT is about far more than queue control. It's about protecting the bottom line and driving sustainable business growth. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.